Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So today we are going to take the teaching or the sutta which is there from Majjhima Nikāya 7, the simile of the cloth. It is giving you an overview of the progress with the letting go. So just by letting go, how one is gradually progressing and what are the things which are hindering it. And that is the changes which happens as we are progressing in the practice. So this is one view of the practice. So there are many different ways the Buddha is teaching. And this is one of the ways the Buddha is teaching about how the practice goes. So the simile of the cloth. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jetha's grove, Anatha Pindika's prayer. There he addressed the students thus. Students, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this. Students, suppose a cloth were defiled and stained, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or other, whether blue or yellow or red or carmine. It would look poorly dyed, impure in color. Why is that? Because of the impurity of the cloth. So too, when a mind is defiled, an unhappy destination may be expected. Suppose a cloth were pure and dried, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or another, whether blue or yellow, red or carmine, it would look well dyed and pure in color. Why is that? Because the purity of the cloth. So too, when the mind is undefiled, a happy destination may be expected. So the Buddha is starting with the example of a cloth. This example is also related to the monk life. So when a monk is ordained, initially he is ordained as a novice monk. So I was there in Thailand, and that is the process they follow, which is the ancient process where we are first given a white cloth. Then we are taught how to stitch them into the lower robe or the upper robe, which is this. This is the robe which I am wearing is an upper robe. Then what they do is that after we have been able to stitch it, we dye that white cloth in a dye. So there are different ways of making the dye. In Wat Pananachat in Thailand, what they used to do is they used to use the jackfruit tree bark. So they cut the bark of the jackfruit tree and boil it, and then there is a brown color dye which is created, and after that it is boiled and concentrated, and then the cloth is put in this dye. So when the Buddha is talking about the dye, he is also talking about what the process of the monk are doing. So he is relating to the monks who are listening to him at that point of time, that how this cloth which is white, if this cloth had some kind of problem, there was mud on the cloth, or there was some other oil or grease was there on the cloth, and this cloth was put in through dye, then what would happen? The end result would be something which you would not like. The color would be patchy. Some places it would not have dye have not taken up. So the Buddha is saying that this is the same way our mind is there. If our mind is defiled, there are some things which are there in the mind which are not wholesome. Then what happens is our destination, where we go, may be unwholesome. But if our mind is clear and all the defilements are removed, then the destination which we can expect is wholesome. So that is what the Buddha is trying to explain. What, students, are the imperfections that defile the mind? Covetousness and unrighteous greed is an imperfection that defiles the mind. So what is that? That is wanting something, and that is wanting something which is not yours or which does not belong to you. That is what it is, unrighteous greed. Sometimes we need something which are, we have some greed is there. But this is saying that this is an unrighteous greed which is there. That is a defilement of the mind. Ill will, wanting somebody's, some other person who is there, wanting bad for that person. That is the ill will which is there. Anger is there in the mind. You are not happy with how the things are there. People can be unhappy for many things. When you meet people, they may be unhappy about the weather, they may be unhappy about the government, they may be unhappy about many things which are happening around. Resentment. Resentment is when somebody has done something to you, then you have this grudge which you hold on to. That is the resentment. Contempt. You say that this person is inferior, he is not uh, my level, or you say that this group of people are not good people or something like that. That we have contempt for people, groups, other kind of languages, and that kind of contempt which is there is also a defilement of the mind, where the mind is not wholesome. Insolence and envy. So when you are not giving respect to the person, or you feel that the person who is there has done better than you. So those are the things which our mind will be creating, and that creation which the mind is creating is unwholesome. So those are the things which are there. Awareness, which is kind of the greed which is there, which is kind of a strong greed which is there. Deceit, fraud. Deceit, fraud is when we try and do bad things or try to kind of deceive somebody. That is the mind's creation. Obstinacy, that is becoming very stubborn, not wanting to learn, not wanting to change, not wanting to do what is needed. Rivalry. Rivalry is also pitting ourselves against somebody. So this is also, you see that there is an other which is there in most of the mind states which are unwholesome. So that is important because at one point of time, the mind states will also be discussed in that sense. Conceit, which is there, arrogance, vanity, negligence is an imperfection that defiles the mind. So all of these things are unwholesome states which arise in the mind. So the Buddha is saying that you have to be aware that these are arising. Don't take it personally. But those things which are there, where when it arise and you put your attention to it, then they become your destination. Because you have paid attention to it, you have given them energy. When you have given them energy, what is happening? That is growing. Knowing that covetousness and unrighteous greed is an imperfection that defiles the mind, a student abandons it. So this is also talking about 6 R's. So when you recognize, what you do is you release, abandon it. Abandon it means that if it is there, you just let it be. So if you're going on a road and you had a extra piece of luggage or extra piece of some things which you do not want, then what you do is you just put it on the side of the road and you continue. That is that you abandon that thing. So you don't continue dealing with that. So that is the abandonment. So as soon as you know that this is there, when you recognize, you abandon it. Knowing that ill will is there, negligence is there, is an imperfection that defiles the mind. A student abandons it. So they do the 6 R's which is there. And Bhante Vimamsi gives the other step also, which is to bring up something wholesome. That is, relax, smile, and go to the wholesome. That is how you keep on letting go of whatever is arising in the present moment. When a student has known that covetousness and unrighteous greed is an imperfection that defiles the mind and has abandoned it, when a student has known that ill will, negligence is an imperfection that defiles the mind and has abandoned it, he acquires unwavering confidence in the Buddha. Thus, the Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of worlds, incomparable leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. So now what is happening is when you are doing this abandonment, then what happens is you know the reality which is there as it is. And then you gain confidence in the teacher. In our context, what is the teacher? The teacher is the Buddha, because he is the one who originally gave these teachings to us. So what happens is the confidence in the Buddha grows. So one way of looking at it is that the confidence is growing because you have known that what is happening. And how you have known it is by seeing the results which is happening. When you see that you have ill will in your mind and you abandoned it, you siksar that thing, then what happens is you know that your mindset has changed. Your mindset has become wholesome. And the level of dukkha which was there, the level of resistance which was there in that present moment, the level of pain which you had experiencing, that has reduced. And when that has reduced, you know that that antidote has been found. So the Buddha is also saying in many places that whatever teachings he is giving, it is an antidote to the problem. The antidote to the problem is that there is dukkha. And the antidote is that you let go of that dukkha and let go of that underlying attachment to that dukkha. So now what is happening is that you have let go of that. That creates the confidence in the Buddha. Then what happens is he acquires unwavering confidence in the Dhamma. Thus, the Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One, visible here and world. Now, well proclaimed means that it has been well communicated. It has been communicated in a way that it has survived 2,500 years. There has been many times it has been misinterpreted, many times it has been expanded, many times it has been kind of added to, but still in more or less fit form, it has survived. So it was well proclaimed. So it was proclaimed in a way that it could survive this time and period. And after that, we could also understand it. If we could not understand it, it was a very kind of complicated in a riddle form, then we would not have been be able to understand. But if it is a very simple, well proclaimed, then we can understand that. So the Dhamma is well proclaimed, visible here and now. Visible here and now means that you can act and immediately know. So when you have ill will in your mind and you abandon it, you know the mind state, how it has changed. So it does not take a lot of time. Here and now you can verify the effectiveness of the practice. Immediately effective. So it is immediately effective. As soon as you let go, you are able to see that your mindset has changed. Again, your mind has a lot of attraction then or a lot of craving for that mindset. Again, your attention goes. Again, what you have to do is recognize, release, relax, and come back. And then you say, oh, this can be let go of. So it is immediately effective. Inviting inspection. So inviting inspection means that if you have success or if you have some benefit from it, then you can ask somebody to come and check it. You don't have to use faith. Oh, believe me, bro, I know what this does. You can have this or you can do this and you will. But that is saying that have faith in me, or you say have faith in the Buddha. But the Buddha, the Dhamma is such that it is saying that you can ask somebody to investigate on their own. So inviting inspection. So you can ask somebody to come and investigate. Onward leading. Onward leading means it takes you forward. The more the practice you do, the more understanding you have, the more you progress in the path. To be experienced by the wise for themselves. So you have to to have some seed. That is when the plant is possible. If there is no seed, there is no plant possible. So Buddha is saying that for the wise people who are willing to practice, then you have the results which can be gained. He acquires unwavering confidence in the Sangha. Thus, the Sangha of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing the good way, practicing the straight way, practicing the true way, practicing the proper way. That is the 4 pairs of person. So there are 4 pairs of persons. So there are 2 parts in each state of awakening or enlightenment. So what happens is that if a person starts on this path, then he may gain confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, or Sangha. And then they will be considered to be a Sotapanna who has the path. After that, he will have solidified that confidence or that understanding. And by confidence and understanding, when it gets solidified, then he has the fruit of that. So then Sotapanna is the phal or the fruit he gets. So now that means that there are two categories of Sotapanna. One is the person who is on the path, the other is who has the fruit. Now, having the fruit means that he will not fall back from that stage. So that is a kind of a solidification. Bhante Vimalramsi used to be a builder. He used to build. So he used to say in that simile he used to give that it is like pouring concrete. So when the concrete is poured, it is still wet. It can be changed. It is still malleable. So that change can happen in a poured concrete. But when the concrete becomes solid, then there is no change possible. Then it solidifies as a rock. So that is the difference between the path and the fruit. When the fruit is there, that state of mind, that state of understanding is solidified. Then there is a Sakadagami. That's called the once returner. Now that also has the path and the fruit. Then there is a non-returner. Non-returner means he will not return to a human life, but he will be reborn in a Brahmaloka, where he will attain the final understanding or the knowledge or awakening. Then there is an Arahant. In this life itself, he has understood the reality in completeness, and he has no doubts remaining in his mind. So that is the four pairs of persons. So the Sangha of the Buddha, which is there, they are saying is has the four pairs of people, the 8 types of individuals. So those are there in the Sangha. That is the confidence one has. The Sangha of the Blessed One disciple is worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offering, worthy of reverential salutation, and unsurpassed field of merit for the world. So the Buddhist or the confidence one has is that they are the good people and they can be supported, and supporting them will be also good for us. So that is the confidence one has. One of the things about the other places, the Buddha is saying that when you have unshakable confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, or Sangha, any one of them or 3 of them together, then you can consider that person to be a Sotapanna. So now one way of looking at this sutta is that the Buddha is kind of hinting that once you start doing the practice, and then when the practice gives you result, and that results give you confidence, then you have reached a level of understanding. So that is also something which is hinted over here by saying that the confidence is there in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So then the person continues the practice. And he continues, whatever is arising, he continues abandoning. When he has given up, expelled, released, abandoned, and relinquished the imperfections of the mind, in part, he considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Buddha. So now what is happening is he is giving that these things which is there, he has given up the unwholesome state, but they are given only in part, not totally. Certain times he may be overwhelmed by that, but in part he has given up those states of mind. Now this is an indication of a Sakadagami. Sakadagami has also called a once returner, has reduced the attraction or the craving and aversion. So craving and aversion both have been attuned or reduced in the person. So that has been abandoned, but in part. So now the Buddha is saying that after this, they continue to practice, and when they continue to practice, they have known that some things they have abandoned in part. So he has the unwavering confidence. So there is a confidence which will not be shaken. So when he has given up, expelled, released, abandoned, and relinquished the imperfections of the mind in part. He considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Buddha. He gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. So gladness connected to the Dhamma is when you are knowing the reality as it is, then there is a natural happiness which comes. That happiness one experiences in the meditation. So when certain times in meditation, you see that after sometimes you naturally feel happy. You naturally are smiling. Naturally, this feel of lightness is coming up because you have understood what is there and what you have able to let go. And you are not also falling into the old traps which you were following in the past. So those things which are there has given you that happiness which is there, which is naturally born from the confidence in the Dhamma. When he is glad, rapture is born in him, or we can say joy is born in him. So there is a joy which is there, which is born. So when this he understands and when he lets go, then joy is automatically born in a person. So when he is glad, then there is joy born in him. In one who has joy or one who is joyous, the body becomes tranquil. So what happens is when somebody has joy, then the body will also become cool. The tranquility is once explained by the Buddha as being in a pool of water, which is perfect temperature as your body temperature. So when you sit in the pool till the neck, then you are just comfortable because there is no sweat, there is no coldness. You're just comfortable. There is a lightness in the body. That is the tranquility which you also experience in meditation. For those whom, for one whom body is tranquil, feels pleasure. In one who feels pleasure, the mind becomes collected or concentrated. So productive level of concentration is what is required in this practice. So as you see that one leads to another. As you are understanding and as you are letting go, as you are siksaring, as you are abandoning, as you are relinquishing, as you are doing it again and again, sometimes it feels that, oh, it has been so long. I have been doing it so long, and still those mindsets come. But those are impersonal. We have not generated the mindset. We sustain the mindsets which are generated. How do we sustain? We sustain it by fighting with it. When we fight with it, we give it energy and it sustains. So other way of sustaining it when we are wanting to suppress it. When we want to suppress it, where all our attention goes on that mindset. So then we sustain that mindsets. But what the Buddha is saying is, when you recognize, you release. You abandon. You relinquish that mind state. When you are doing that continuously, then you have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Then you have the unwavering confidence. Then what happens is you have abandoned certain things in part. You are aware that, oh, certain things I am not able to do. Oh, I used to eat that thing a lot, but now I can eat it in moderation. I used to become very angry, but now I can become angry and I can let it go in, say, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. So you are knowing that in part I have abandoned certain mind states. So that is how you have grown. And then when this continues, you will come to the mind state which is collected mind state. This is also something which we experience in the meditation retreats where the mind can go into equanimity. And that is the time where you can see certain subtle things which are there of the mind. So he continues. He considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Dhamma. He gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains confidence, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. When he is glad, the mind becomes collected. He considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Sangha. He gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. When he is glad, the mind becomes collected. or concentrated. He considers thus the imperfections of the mind have in part been given up, expelled, released, abandoned, and relinquished by me. And he gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with Dhamma. When he is glad, rapture is born in him. One who is rapturous, the body becomes tranquil. One whose body is tranquil feels pleasure. In one who feels pleasure, the mind becomes collected or concentrated. Students, if a student of such virtue, of such a state of concentration, and such wisdom eats alms food, consistent of choice hill rice, along with various sauces and curries, even that will be no obstacle for him. So now the Buddha is talking about a mind state which is further ahead. Now this is an indication, because as I told you that in a anagami, two things are given up. So I mentioned that in Sakdagami, two things have become weaker. That is the craving and aversion. In an anagami, craving and aversion has been given up totally. So that is the reason the Buddha is giving you an example to illustrate that point. Say if a person, see if somebody likes something like mangoes and has the mangoes, then what happens is there is a lot of desire for mangoes. There's a preference which is there for mangoes. If there are five fruits put before him, then he would pick up the mangoes because he has some desire for the mangoes. But say there are five fruits put up, and that individual is a anagami, then he will have no differentiation between the mangoes and the apples and the banana, because for him all those will be a source of energy to sustain the body, and he will not overindulge in any kind of food. So the preference goes away. So that's the reason the Buddha is saying that if such a person goes to a king's palace also and has the best of the rices, best of the curries, best of the dishes, then his mind will not get attracted to that person. That is the reason he is mentioning that it will be no obstacle for him. Just as a cloth that is defiled and stained becomes pure and bright with the help of clear water, or just as gold becomes pure and bright with the help of a furnace, so too, if a student of such virtue eats alms food, that will be no obstacle for him. So the Buddha is saying that even if your mind at one stage of time is defiled, has impurities, as unwholesome mind states, but as something can be cleaned, like a cloth or a gold, in that same way, the mind can also be cleaned. And that mind has been cleaned into a state currently, which is not attracted to food or even the best of the dishes which is served to him. He abides pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with loving kindness, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere. And as to himself, he abides pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. So anybody who has done a retreat with us will recognize the instructions which we are giving for the directions. So this is the Vattha in all directions. The same way you do the karuna or compassion. You do the same with the sympathetic joy. And you do the same with the equanimity. So you just start radiating and doing the Brahma Vihara practice. As your mind is more and more able to understand, more and more able to relate to the wholesome, then it becomes more and more easier for you to do this practice. He understands thus, there is this, there is the inferior, there is the superior. So at one point of time in our life, we don't understand what is wholesome and unwholesome. So I also had that stage in life where I did not really understand. I had lack that I did not have this, or I wanted this, so for my happiness. I never had the understanding that the mind states are there. My mind states are arising and passing away, and I am accepting those mind state as me, and I become angry because there is an anger arising in my mind. I become sad because the sadness is arising in my mind. And that is something which is a state of mind. So that is something which makes us think about inferior and kind of superior. So I am inferior, he is superior, he is inferior, I am superior. So all those kind of concepts is there. But it is a very interesting thing which the Buddha is saying. So then he understands thus, there is this inferior, there is the superior, and beyond there is an escape from this whole field of perception. So the Buddha is saying this inferior and superior and equal also is there in this box. And out of this perception of inferior, superior, or equal, there is a whole perception. So it is like skipping out of this game, checking it out, not being part of this game anymore. So when we are part of the game, we are also certain times inferior, sometimes we are superior, sometimes we are equal. But when we are not a part of the game, we are not part of this whole samsara. So there is a escape from the whole field of perception. So there is an escape. So that is a higher state of mind where there is no attachment, where there is no identification, there is no personalization which is there. When the personalization is there and identification is a mine is there, then only I become superior or inferior or equal. If that is not there, then I cannot be designated at anything. When he knows and sees thus, his mind is liberated from the taint of sensual desire, from the taint of being, from the taint of ignorance. So this mind becomes totally free. There is no kind of taints which are there. There are no blemishes which are there. There are no defilements which are there in the mind. So there is no sensual desire which is there. There is no I, me, myself is there. There is no ignorance which is there. So all of those pass away. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge. It is liberated. He understands birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. Student, this student is called one bathed with the inner bathing. So now the Buddha is using the bathing as an example because in India and that time also there was a concept where the one person can go to a river, dip himself in the river, and then it is considered that his wrong karma is there, which is washed away. And then there are certain rivers, certain times you go dip yourself and you can become free of all your attachments. So that is the reason the Buddha is using this example, one bathed with the inner bathing. He says that you cannot bathe away your defilements by outer bathing. Inner bathing is what? Is the six R's, is the right effort, which is letting go, abandoning, relinquishing, whatever holds it. So that is the inner bathing which you are doing. So outer bathing will not help us. And one other reason was there was a Brahman who was there over there, Bharadwaja, and he was of the opinion that bathing can help you become awakened. So that is the reason the Buddha is using that thing. So we'll quickly go through this conversation which we have regarding the bathing. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadwaja was sitting not far from the Blessed One. Then he said to the Blessed One, but does Master Gautama go to the Bhauka river for to bathe? Why Brahmin go to the river? What can the river do? Master Gautama, the Bahuka river is held by many to give liberation. It is held by many to give merit. And many wash away their evil actions in the Bahuka river. So he has the kind of the idea that it will give you awakening. It will give you the total kind of release when you bathe in the river. Then the Blessed One addressed the Brahmin in stanzas. Bahuka, Adhikaka, Gaya, Sundarika 2, Prayaga and Saraswati, and the stream Bahumati. A fool may there forever bathe, yet will not purify dark deeds. What can Sundarika bring to pass? What the Prayaga, what the Bahuka? They cannot purify an evildoer, a man who has done cruel and brutal deeds. One pure in heart has evermore, the feast of spring, the holy day, one fair in act, one pure in heart, brings his virtue to perfection. It is here, Brahmin, that you should bathe to make yourself a refuge for all being. Making a refuge for all being is not killing. So he's talking about the precepts. And if you spoke no falsehood, nor work harm for living beings, nor take what is not what is offered not, with faith and free from avarice, what need you go to Gaya? For any well will be your Gaya. So the Buddha is saying that any water which you bathe will purify you, because the bathing which you are doing is the inner bathing. When this was said, the Brahmin said, magnificent Master Gotama, magnificent Master Gotama. Master Gotama has made the Dhamma clear in many ways, as though he was turning upright what had been overthrown, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go to Master Gotama for refuge, and to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha of Bhikkhus. I would receive the growing forth under Master Gotama. I would receive the full admission. So there are times in Buddha's period when he would admit the student or make them a monk by saying, "Come here, monk." So when he says, "Come here, monk," that person is considered to be a monk. And this is one of those examples where the Buddha admits him directly into the Sangha. Normally, he would give them a 4-month period where he becomes a novice monk, and then a full ordination is done for that person. And the Brahmin, Sundarika Bharadwaja, received the going forth under the Blessed One, and he received the full admission. And soon, not long after his full admission, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent, resolute, the Venerable Bharadwaja, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now, entered upon and abided in that supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. And the Venerable Bharadwaja became one of the Arahants. So by following the practice, he continued the practice and he attained that level of understanding. So this is the end of the sutta. And if there are any questions, you may ask now. If they are related to the sutta, you can ask related to the sutta, or general related to meditation. You may ask now. Anybody? So everybody was clear with the message? Yes? I could not follow you. You said something, huh?
Reverend,
Yes.
Can I talk? Could you please explain a little bit more of a level of understanding?
So the level of understanding in that sense that there are 4 stages which are there of awakening. So the first is Sotapanna. The Sotapanna means that he is a stream enterer. Now, stream enterer, there are many different ways the Buddha is explaining the stream enterer. But from the level of understanding, he has understood one thing is that this practice which he does will take him forward, so that he has confidence in the practice. Second, he has confidence that the external things will not help him become awakened. That is like going into a river and bathing, will not help him attain awakening. So he has the rites and rituals leading to awakening. That concept he has given up. Now he has some insight into the impersonal nature of the thoughts, or impersonal nature of everything, impersonal nature of the body, impersonal nature of the our mind states. So when he has understood this impersonal nature, it helps him progress. So that is a Sotapanna. So he has 7 lifetimes maximum. And these 7 lifetimes can be in the heavens also, because most of the times in suttas, when it is mentioned, they go into heaven and they stay in 7 different heavens, and then they attain awakening. And there are some suttas also where the Buddha is saying that when you have done the practice as per my instructions or my understanding, then when you are going into any higher states, from there you can still progress. So that is a Sotapanna. Then there is Sagdagami. Sagdagami has 2 things which are become weaker. One is the craving, which has become weaker. Then aversion has become weaker. So he knows that in part that has been given up. And he will only come back one lifetime. So if he has to not progress more than that, then he will be born as a human being once. And in that life, he will be gaining the full awakening. Now there is a third stage which is there, where he has given up the craving and aversion. After giving up the craving and aversion, he has some 5 which are very subtle things which are there. One is he wants to become something in human form. He wants to become something in the Deva form. That human form can be even a Arahant. He has a desire to be an Arahant, or he has a desire to kind of be a very good teacher. So that desires which are there are human desires. So, or to take care of his parents or something like that. That desires can also hold you on for the progress. So but there are very subtle desire which is there. Then there is a desire that they want to become a Brahma, they want to stay in the Brahma Loka. So that kind of desire are there. Then there is restlessness is there. Now after restlessness, there is a conceit, which is that I am so awakened, I am so nice, or I am having this psychic knowledge. This I am thing which is there, that subtle conceit is there. Then the 5th thing which is there still in his mind is ignorance. The ignorance has totally not gone. So then when that ignorance is given up and these subtle things are given up, then he becomes an Arahant. So that is the last stage. So that is how the understandings are 4 levels of understandings. This is good enough?
Yeah, that's brilliant, sir. So, is it possible for lay people to experience arahatship in this lifetime?
As far as my understanding is concerned, a lay person has certain specific conditions in which they can become an Arahant, not in a general sense. See, if you have an attachment, okay, see, if I have this attachment to this, then as long as I am attached to this, maybe I will not be able to pick up my tea. Okay, so because I am still attached to that, so that attachment has to be given up for the person to become an Arahant. So now there are certain conditions in the suttas which has been mentioned as Arahant. One is Suddhodana, the Buddha's father. He was a Anagami and he was on his deathbed. And he became an Arahant 7 days prior to his passing away. So he was an lay person, but still he was an Arahant. Then there is an mention in one other Samyutta Nikāya or Anguttara Nikāya, I'm forgetting now. There is a conversation between 2 lay people. One lay person is an Anagami, another person is also an Anagami, but he's giving him some talk as he is there on his deathbed. So when he is there on the deathbed, he is giving the talk of relinquishment, impersonality, the impermanence. And then when he has completed the talk, After the talk is completed, this person has passed away. Then they go to the Buddha and ask him that what was him? What was his destination? He said, no, as a lay person, he has attained an arahanthood and then he passed away. And he is as good an arahant as any of my monks. So that is two specific conditions where they became arahants as a lay person. That were they're on deathbed. Then there are other places where they are very knowledgeable. They are very easily they can become arahant, but they have not become arahant. Is a example of Kasapa Buddha has a disciple. He has two blind parents. So he's taking care of that blind parents. And that is the reason he did not attain arahanthood over there. And then he was reborn in a Brahma Loka. And he is the Brahma Savampati who came to Buddha and encouraged him to teach. So he was able to become an arahant, but he did not become an arahant because he had still attachment to his parents and he had to take care of his parents. Then there is one example in the Buddha's time itself. There was a lay teacher. That name also escapes me. But that lay teacher, even the Buddha used to send monks to learn from that lay person. So that person was also taking care of his parents and he was an anagami and he did not become. So there is a very clear indication that there has to be a specific condition only for a lay person to become an arahant. But it is possible. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Anything else? Ravi, no? Ravi?
Yes, hello Bhante. So, can you explain the difference in clinging and becoming? So, for example, the stories come in the mind. Many people say that is clinging, but that is, I think, becoming. So, you use in Hindi very good word chipkao
Chipkao.
for
Right.
clinging. For clinging.
This is very difficult to kind of differentiate because
Okay.
our attachment is also our being. No, the being also is an attachment. Attachment also being. It's a kind of a circle which is there. So it is very difficult to kind of separate from being from attachment. Because if I am attached to even my tea, then why is this attachment to the tea? It is because I will enjoy it. If there is no being over here, then the attachment for the tea will not happen. No. So because I will consume it, that is the reason there is an attachment to the tea. Oh, the tea is very good. I need tea. This kind of tea I will buy once again. Now that attachment which is there in my mind is generated because of my understanding that a person is there, a being is there who will enjoy that tea. So attachment and the being which is there cannot be separated in that sense. They are different reflections of or how they appear are in different way they kind of show up. Does that happen?
But when sometimes, so specifically like when we are going through something, the stories come up, lot of stories with aversion. So those stories are significance of clinging or becoming. Like these are two. Okay.
They can become or they can you cling to them. They will become something. Okay. You have to understand from that that they are arising because they are a part of the habitual tendencies. So there is a storage of stimulus response which is there. So when there is a contact, there is a feeling. When there is a feeling, there is a perception. When there is perception, there is thinking. When there is thinking, there is a mental proliferation which happens. So this is from the Majjhima Nikāya 18, Honeyball Sutta. So now you see that how this is linked, one is linked to the another. So when this is happening, why is it happening? This is happening because there is also an attachment to the thing which is arisen. If when it is 6-hour, when you recognize there is a story which is there, and as soon as you recognize, you abandon it, you release it, you relinquish it, and relax, smile, and come back. Then that becoming a part of that will not happen.
Okay.
You see, it's a process you have to understand rather than say that they are kind of fixed states of things. So craving is
Okay.
also a process. A being is also a process. I am a being from time to time, moment to moment, I am being. Because I
Yeah.
take breathing, I eat, I drink, and that is continuously happening. There is no fixed thing which is there anywhere. There is no stillness which is there in the universe. Even an atom is there, it is kind of vibrating.
Yes. But in clinging, I feel like there is a chipcow, like sticking like glue, like that emotional state is there. Even if you want to get out, you cannot get out like that. But stories,
Uh,
they come afterwards.
See, the clingingness is the uh, level of craving which you have for those things,
Okay.
and level of
Okay.
actual tendencies which is there.
Mhm.
And I can understand because there are certain mindset which is there, which is very difficult to get away from.
Yeah.
And it happens in meditation also certain times. There are certain times the meditation can become very busy, and certain times it can be very heavy, and certain times it can be very kind of dull. And that kind of mind states which are there, how much are you attracted to it? And that can change. As in, when you are able to let go, abandon 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, and you will find that that level of attachment which was there, that level of stickiness which is there, that level of stickiness which is there will become lesser and lesser. If you take a this thing scotch tape also and keep on using it in different surfaces, its stickiness reduces. You keep
Yeah.
so that is how this happens. But that is the currently you will feel that there it is very kind of powerful. There are two states, but there are two different perceptions. So sometimes
Okay.
I explain it with sweet and something which is spicy. So I like sweet, and my friend who is there, he likes spicy. So we can take the sweet and have opposite reactions. We can take the spicy and have opposite reactions.
Yeah.
So that is how. So certain times we consider those things as sticky because we our habitual tendencies and our perception towards them is that in the past I have not been able to let go, so in the future also I will not be able to let it go. But that is not
Yeah.
the case.
Also, people are designing things that way, like doom scrolling these days. You are scrolling something online, it becomes very sticky. Now you can't get out of that
Right.
state. It's like that.
Yeah, it is. It is very kind of kind of addictive, and
Yeah.
they are not knowing the process, but they know the result.
Yeah.
So they don't know the why. Even the engineers which are there, they know how it happens. If you give them this, they will stick to it. So if you give them hate, they will stick to it. So everything is about hate. Everything is about this thing. My friend is also addicted to that. He shares my account because we have a kind of YouTube Pro, whatever that account is there without ads. I can see him also getting so much attracted to the what is wrong in India, what is wrong in the society, what is wrong in politics, and that becomes our kind of obsessions, and that becomes difficult to let go. And that stickiness is there, and that stickiness is only going to go because of our letting go, and that is the reason the Buddha is also giving 4 levels, or is explaining the levels as it is. He is not creating it, but he is observing it and then conveying it to us at 4 levels, because that is how our mind is there. Also, we can give as of now something which is not even if you ask to clean the house, we want to reduce 20% of the things in the house. What is the first thing which you will give up? Maybe you will give up the trash can, you will give up the plastic bag you had stored, the least favorite things of yours will go, or the old kind of bed sheets you have kept in the attic, that you will take out and give up. That is the first thing which you will give up. Then you are forced to give up more. Then there are certain things which are used very sparingly. Like there is a stool which is there that you will give up. Then you will ask, no, we have to give up more. Then you may come to certain things you may be using. The cups are there, but they are cracked. So maybe that is given up. Then there will be the fine china and those things which you could never think about giving up. Then that comes into play. Then now you have to see, oh, but you cannot start with the finest china while giving up. And
Yeah.
that is something which you can recognize that, no, I cannot start with the china, my finest cutlery. But at one point of time when you are giving up, you give up. That has the physically thing, because I know, because I when I went from this home life to homelessness, I had to kind of give up everything in my house. I was cleaning it up. So that is how the mind is giving up slowly. So that will happen eventually.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. So any other? Yes.
Reverend, is it possible for us to recognize contact, or do we interrupt at feeling level and craving level? Can we interrupt at contact level?
Yes, there is a possibility. There is a state of mind in the meditation where you will be able to come to that state where your mind can be very calm, and you will be able to see the contact. You can see the feeling arise. And that is a state where it is very subtle things which are happening in quiet mind. So that time you will be able to see that. But it is very subtle mind. So it may be that you may have to be in that mindset for a long time for you to recognize it. Okay, so don't look out for it. Just do your meditation as it is. If you're in quiet mind for a long time, then just smile more. Have a broader vision and let it happen. And then you will maybe know. Bhante used to say that this is the technique Bhante used to say. First time you may know that there is something which happened, and there is a thought which is there. So over here something happened and there is no thought. Then what happens is that when this happens, you relax over here. And then you see there is no thought is coming. But when this happens, there is something happening before this happens. Then you say, okay, there is a tension and tightness happening. Before tension and tightness happens, something happens. So you let go of at tension and tightness and see what is happening over here. Then you may see maybe there is you may perceive it as light. You may perceive it as some lines. You may perceive it as a bar. And then you know, okay, there is something which is happening before the craving is happening. And that is the contact, which contacts may, that perception depends. So it's not a common thing. Some may perceive it as light, some may perceive it as a line, some may perceive it as a kind of ripple. And that ripple happens, then there is a tension, tightness happens. And then there is a thought which happens. So then you know, okay, this is how we can see going back. So what happens before this happened? So what is this is whatever is you recognize in the meditation. And what happened before this happened? What happened before this happened? What happened before this happened? And when that is understood, then you will be able to see contact. But it is a very rare thing. I cannot say with certainty that even I see that with regularity. But there are certain times in my life, I think my meditation was good, which I may be suspecting that I was seeing that. So it is a very rare thing. Your mind has to be really calm down and balanced to be able to see that. So if I know that you do a lot of meditation, so you will be able to experiment with that, and you will be able to kind of see how it happens. And then you can let me know, you can message me, and we can discuss about that.
Thank you very much, Reverend. Thanks a lot.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, then we can share the merits then. If you have any questions, you can even put it on the group. So, may suffering ones be suffering free and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everybody for coming, and hopefully you keep coming every week. Take care.